So our last two coping techniques focus mainly around sleep, and the next two that we are going to look at will focus more on general anxiety and negative thoughts, two things which can really impact our overall mental health. Often anxiety can come about when we are worrying about the future. The future can be unpredictable and often beyond our control, and one of the biggest causes of stress and anxiety is feeling out of control or powerless. Anxiety can build very, very quickly, and the more it builds, the more powerless we can feel. So perhaps think for a moment of an example when you were going somewhere that made you feel anxious. Maybe you were going to school or to a job interview or to an exam. Somewhere or something in the near future that you were really quite worried about, and maybe you started to feel anxious about what was to come, wondering what the day would be like, what would be the outcome of it. Now, the more we think about this anxiety, the more our body might react to it. Our breathing might get faster, our heartbeat stronger, we might start to sweat, making us feel even more anxious. This then may lead to irrational thoughts, making us think all the worst possible outcomes, and it can feel a little like we are spiralling out of control. The more out of control we feel, the harder this is to come down from. So our body and our mind can feel stuck in a really heightened level of anxiety and stress. So a simple technique that we can use in any situation that we feel anxious about is to try and get our minds to remain present in the present moment using something called a grounding technique. The idea of these techniques is that they ground us to the present situation we're in, and they stop our mind and anxiety spiraling out of control about something in the future. So one way to do this is to use the 5-4-3-2-1 approach. So this one is really good if you're waiting for something that's making you feel anxious. So maybe you're at home waiting for the phone to ring with some news. Maybe you're walking somewhere to a new activity that you're about to try out for the first time, or you're going to a meeting that you feel stressed about. You can use it anywhere. The idea behind the 5-4-3-2-1 is that we're trying to focus in on our 5 senses and say in our heads, or you can say it out loud if you're doing it with a partner, 5 things you can see, 4 things you can hear, 3 things you can touch, 2 things you can smell, and 1 thing that you can taste. So for 5 things that you can see, focus on everything going on around you there and then in that present moment. So if you can, focus in on the small details too. So if you're out and about and you're walking, and one of the things you are listing is a car, try and describe it in as much detail as you can. What colour is it? What make? What model? Are there people in the car? Just adding in that extra detail to things can help us focus on even more on the present situation that we're in, and that can ground us to that present moment. Once you've done that 5 times with 5 different things, move on to 4 things that you can hear. So really tune into what's going on around you. Can you hear birds, transport, people? What do they sound like? Then move on to 3 things that you can touch. So if you're walking, this may be more things which are close to you, so perhaps the feel of your clothes, or what does the ground feel like under your feet? Are you walking on cement or on grass? Again, try to focus in as much as you can on those feelings and those textures. Are they soft, hard, rough? Do you like the feel of them? Then next is 2 things you can smell. So this one is a little hard, and you have to really focus in a little more depending on where you are. So maybe you've walked past a bakery or someone with some coffee, maybe grass nearby has been cut. Perhaps if you're at home you can smell something cooking or an air freshener. Then finally, 1 thing that you can taste. So you may have just eaten, or if it's morning you may still be able to taste your toothpaste. Really focus in on that taste. If this one's a bit tricky, perhaps just always have some gum or some mints in your bag or in your pocket that you can just chew on. This is known as mindful eating, and you can really focus in on every bite, on every chew, discovering the flavour. Is it strong? Is it sour? Is it minty? Just really allowing your mind to focus on those moments and those tastes. And that's it. That is the 5-4-3-2-1 approach. It can be used anywhere, and it can all be done in your head, so no one around you would even have any idea. Hopefully, once you've done it, and you might want to do it a couple of times, this should help your mind refocus away a little bit from the anxious thoughts and hopefully make you feel a little calmer. This technique is useful for the short-term anxiety, but can also help our mental health long-term, as the more we can keep our minds and bodies feeling calm and not in constant states of heightened anxiety and stress, the more this can benefit our overall health. If you're not so keen on the 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, or you've already tried it, another really quick grounding technique which works in the exact same way is the rainbow. So wherever you are, look around and name all the things that are red. So try to list as many as possible until you really can't see any more, and then move on to orange, and so on until you have completed all the colours of the rainbow.